Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
All right, please note that the language and ideas presented on the show might not be suitable for everyone. If you're under 18, make sure your mom isn't around. If you're over 80, why is your mom around?
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
On Cyrus Says, we meet Nishek Jain. He was the managing, or rather is the managing director of Sahib Hospitality, but he was an engineer. Almost 10 years in the wilderness of Bavaria trying to find himself. Took him 10 years, but he found himself and 29 different styles of food that you can eat in a restaurant called 29. All this and more. Nishek.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
Okay, let's understand one thing. Ours is not an egalitarian society. It never will be. By the way, this is Cyrus Says. But I can't understand why you have a service lift for servants and dogs and a different lift for human beings. I cannot understand that after apartheid was stopped in South Africa, we will have this concept and people don't think it's bad. How can you go into one lift and tell the person who works for you to go in the other? Firstly, the word servant has to be stopped. I just think it's a wrong word. Secondly, why should canines be put in a third lift? I mean, what the hell are we doing? The caste system has to end. If you want to end the way India is, or rather not end the way India is, but make India into a better country and equalize, then we have to stop stupid things like a service lift for certain people. Now, if you want to keep certain people out of your lift, I don't mind, but the reason should be proper. Smelly, dirty, ungainly, trying to touch you sexually, as a relative you don't like. These are the reasons. These are the reasons throw people out of lifts. Not because of class, community, size, animal, background. That's wrong.
And that's what Cyrus Says.
All right, right here on Cyrus Says, episode 2,465,000. We now have over 150 subscribers, so we're very happy. I'm just kidding. Nishek Jain is in the audience with us, not in the audience. He's actually in the studio. We have no audience.
Absolutely.
Nishek, I'll just begin by telling you that I don't know if you've heard of our podcast. It's still, it's still an infant in terms of growth. It's remaining an infant far too long. We're a little worried. We've called a doctor. We've given medication. We'll see what happens.
Excellent.
But our aim here is very simple. We try to get very interesting people and put them in front of the mic and get them to tell us about their lives. All right. If that doesn't work, we have naked young girls, and that seems to
beautiful. The
sponsors seem to be very happy with that.
Oh, that one over there, the blonde one is beautiful.
Well, she's not blonde. She just dyed her hair. Oh. Vrinda, say hello. Yeah. All right. Let's start with you, sir. Nishek, you are an entrepreneur. You're a very interesting man. You started a restaurant, but right now, everybody's talking about 29, which is very close to my house, so it's obviously making waves and we know about it. But let's go a little bit back into the history and see what your background is.
Yeah.
Where did Nishek come from and why the restaurant business?
So, actually speaking, I'm an engineer.
Why are you always engineers? Everybody who comes here is an engineer. I'm going to put a disclaimer saying if you're an engineer, don't come in. Everyone's success story is about being an engineer and not going into engineering.
I guess it's just the first step into becoming successful. And, because being an engineer doesn't just mean making tools or, creating some sort of software. It means applying engineering.
Or starting a train.
Absolutely. Oh, yes, absolutely.
I thought in the old days the engineers only did that. I had no idea the engineers. Then I realized one was a cricketer called Farooq Engineer, but that was different.
That's a different dude.
Yeah. And now, of course, sorry to interrupt you, but the fact of the matter is that we've had so many guests here who went into engineering. They have that sort of South Mumbai or rather this, the big city thing about engineering is one of the big hallmarks of your life.
True.
And then they don't pursue it.
It's just a facade.
It's a facade. So let's not lie to the kids out there anymore.
All right,
when your father and mother say engineering, they are making the right choice.
Right.
It's just that you won't land up doing engineering.
Absolutely. We just waste a seat and then we say, hooray, that's what we wanted to do.
So you can sell your seat halfway because in any case, your success lies elsewhere.
True.
That is the story.
There
you go. That's the story of Nishek. Now you tell us. Sorry.
Absolutely. So like I told you, I'm an engineer who just had the idea of doing an engineering because he wanted to waste a seat. Mm-hmm. After that, I did my honors title.
Where was engineering, just by the way?
It was in Germany.
Wow!
Yes, so I wasted a seat up there, not here. Excellent.
You made the Europeans pay.
Absolutely.
You naughty man. Excellent. Good work. So did you have to learn German? How does that work?
I did. I learned German.
Sprechen die Deutsch?
Yes, ein bisschen. Nicht sehr viel, aber ein bisschen. And
stop showing off and not making vulgar gestures with your fingers. What does that mean?
You let me into it. I can't help it. So,
can we do the interview in German for 5 minutes? I think that'll just be fun.
I'm not really sure how many.
So I'll ask you in English and you just answer in German. Let's see how it goes.
All right, let's do that.
So you were in Germany for how long?
Ich war in Deutschland für insgesamt 8,5 Jahre. That means I was
8.5 months.
Oh, Years.
8.5 years.
Oh, you were close.
See, I speak more Austrian version of. By the way, we are going in the summer to Munich.
Oh, you are.
So I need to. Is it important to learn a little bit of German when you're there?
If you have to hit on girls, yeah, absolutely.
I have my wife, my mother-in-law, my daughter.
Okay, then I would.
By hitting on girls, will be confined to a video.
Yeah. Okay. So
SMSs. Yeah.
So maybe I can chat up with your son. I believe he's 13 years old, and
he's 13 years old.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's just in that age now, so we
but
can.
They actually they go to BIS school and they do learn German.
Yes,
it's one of the
excellent,
subjects.
It's excellent. I would like to say, learning German would be excellent for him because it's.
Can you say it in German so he understands?
Yeah, well, it's too advanced for him. Yes, absolutely. But it'll be great for him because Austria, German, a part of the Swiss. People speak German, so it'll be great for him, I'm sure.
So what an amazing story. Nishek went to Germany to study engineering, actually speaks German. All this is something which is totally different from what you ended up doing.
Yes, I'm an owner of an Indian restaurant, and purely Indian means all the regional cuisine of all 29 states of our country. Mm-hmm. That's what we're doing.
We'll come to that. That's the meat of our program. But now let's go back to engineering. Okay. You're there. Where were you in Germany?
I was in Mannheim, which is about 45 minutes from Frankfurt City.
Frankfurt, where the famous sausage comes from. Oh, yeah, fantastic. Well, so tell us a little bit more about that whole engineering experience. Now you're an Indian boy there in Germany.
Yes.
Was it fun? Were you alone?
I'm the nice, brown, good-looking guy in Germany.
Exotic?
Maybe, not really. I was not exotic, but I mean, there were a couple of Packies over there. And
isn't Packy like an abuse? You don't say that?
Not really.
You can say Packy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Were you friends?
I refer to them as Packy in front of them, and they're all right about it.
So were you guys friends?
Absolutely.
So the whole story about Indians and Pakistanis abroad is they really bond very well.
Absolutely, they do because they have a lot of things in common. Also, most of them are brownish white.
Yeah.
So
race always brings people together, as many wars have shown us.
Yes, absolutely. So I finished my engineering. Subsequently, I did my thesis, which is a mini PhD. It's about an honors title.
What is a mini PhD? It's like a lazy man's PhD.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Halfway through my engineering, I was like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And then I eventually did finish my engineering and subsequently did my honors title, which is very boring, obviously. Mm-hmm. Then I sold off my thesis to one company called Procter & Gamble, which was...
P&G. We have them
P&G.
Here. I've done a lot of work with P&G.
Yes. So I commercially, sold off...
As a good Indian, I have to ask you the question. Kitna mila?
Bahut mila. Kafi mila. Acha mila.
Lagbhag, ballpark?
I can't give it to you. I can't give you the figures.
But decent sum of money.
Yes. I mean, it was just about enough to cover my...
In your mind, were you anywhere next to a Restaurateur vision, or this is nothing
not
like
at
that?
Not at all. Back then, it was just about
traveling a lot. So you're just trying to see how to make money and learn at the same time and things like that?
Yes, and travel a lot because that was one of my...
You were single?
I was, yes. I was.
So did you backpack, do the usual thing?
I did the usual thing. I also went around...
Did you and your two Pakistani friends walk all across Europe scaring people?
Not really. Well,
3 brown men with packs? My God, that's not fun.
Okay, that's really scary. We did a little bit of traveling around, not just them, but a couple of other guys who were not Pakis. And subsequently, at the end of the 8.5 year, I had to come back to India because my father's health was not very well. Let's get emotional now.
Yeah.
So he was not very well, and I had to come back into my family business.
Okay, sorry to interrupt again, but 8.5 years.
Yes.
I have engineering friends, and none of them have spent 8.5 years doing the whole thing.
Correct.
So you spent 3 years doing engineering, then 5.5 years?
4 years is
4 years engineering, and the rest of the time just walking around the Alps.
2 years for the honors title that I wrote. And I also
that's a proper thesis. What is a mini thesis? You spend 2 years writing.
Yes, writing and then
you translate it from German to English again.
No, not really. It wouldn't take so long. But what I'm saying is I had to imply it as well commercially. When I sell it to them, I have to imply it as well.
Right.
And subsequently I worked.
So let's put it this way: 6 years was in academics of sorts.
Yes,
and 2.5 years for yourself.
Yes, for myself working for the company called Procter & Gamble. It has a subsidiary called Braun, Braun.
My God, this whole Braun thing is just not leaving us. You go to Germany, you're just captured by this whole Braun tradition.
Okay, but this is a Braun. Braun and not really a
Braun.
Yeah, well,
like the Führer's wife. Ugh.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Her name was Braun.
Eva, yeah.
Eva.
Correct, yes.
My God, you really know your German. I'm scared. All right.
So I did that, and then I come back to India, and I'm a Marwadi. So let me just get that up.
Family business comes first.
Yeah, that's right. There you got it. So I had to come back to my family business, and which I was doing very, very happily. I had no hesitations in that. Only somewhere 3 years later, I figured out that my father's much better now. And he's coming back to office. So I said, okay, Dad, how about you give me a year's sabbatical?
Sorry, what's the family business?
We're into exports.
So nothing next to what you're going to end up doing in your life?
Nothing to do with the restaurants, nothing to do with the engineering that I did. Nothing at all. And subsequently, I spoke to my dad and I told him, Dad, give me a year's sabbatical and give me about a
Which
crore.
Marwadi family allows the boy to have a 1 year sabbatical?
And which Marwadi family gives the boy 1 crore rupees upfront to do a business?
I want to be born again.
Excellent. Yeah.
Wow.
So, my dad said a yes for both. And that very second, I took the DD and I ran away. I was like, okay, never again is my dad going to say a yes
before he wakes up and realizes.
Absolutely, yeah. Maybe he was, one of those...
After effect of medication, he was not well, blah, blah, blah.
Yes, correct.
But let's get to this. So now, in your idea, what did you want to do with the 1 crore exactly?
So what I wanted to do was, I wanted to bring the regional cuisine of all 29 states of our country.
But Nishek, I want to understand. You were in Germany. You had no idea about all these things.
No idea.
When did this idea... You're a Marwari boy from a stereotypical South Bombay background.
Yes.
With a powerful family and powerful family business and huge tradition. Yes. I've grown up with people like you. So I find it really odd. When did you decide to go into a restaurant thing? I mean, how does that happen?
I think it was one of those trips to Bombay each year when I used to come to Bombay. It used to be around December, and I used to notice 3 things. A lot of people were spending a lot of money on 3 items. One of them was cars, other one was clothes, and the third thing was food. I would go to several restaurants which used to serve Italian food, and it used to be nowhere close to the...
And some of those Italian food would cost more than the cars.
Absolutely.
Which is ridiculous.
It would. Yeah. And so was the case with the Mexican food, which was...
And you were exposed to all this, obviously, being a European for 8.5 years.
Yes. So I kind of felt cheated, not just for myself, but the other diners who were dining with me in that hall. And that's when I kind of had this, notion of opening a restaurant which was really authentic. In whatever we do, we wanted to be as authentic as possible. I couldn't do Italian, I couldn't do...
But you never
Mexican.
had a thing for food before that?
Never.
You just suddenly hit you that food is not being given enough respect here.
Well, being a Marwari, I used to always eat a lot of food, all those nice dal bati, nice gatte ki sabzi and all that. But I was never into feeding people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So...
but you're not feeding people, you're charging us. Well, this is a different feeling altogether when you feed people without the money. Yeah.
The concept of 29 is a little, different from other restaurants. We are not just taking things or other money. We're also giving something in return, which we'll get to a little later.
Yeah. So let's get back to the point you're in right now.
Right.
Which is you've got the demand draft and you've got the vision.
Yes, I've got the vision. So what do? I sit and I plan my first trip, which is to the northeast. Oh. The 7 beautiful sisters of our country, which have been highly neglected in the past years. I plan a trip, so I fly from from Bombay to Calcutta, from Calcutta to Tripura. Then I'm on the road through all...
It's amazing. 7 different states which all have their own cuisine, and most of us say in Mumbai, Delhi will not be exposed to it at all.
Yes, absolutely. And, like I told you, they've been highly, neglected in the past few years. And I do want to say that a lot of these places are still in the British era. What I mean to say is the guys over there, they're so well cultured. You don't see anybody spitting
anywhere. So it's a positive is what you're saying.
Very, very.
So you want the British to come back. That's what you're trying to say.
Not really.
I want 8.5 years with Germany, who fought 2 wars with the Britain in the last 100 years. You want the British back.
That may be one point of view, but what I'm trying to say is that...
Well, listen, I'm on your side. There's something to be said about civilization. I have a friend called Kunal who goes to Europe. He's not a super rich man, but he likes to go to London and Europe all the time. And I asked him why. He said for 2 things: civility and decency.
Yes.
These 2 things we do need to work on in India.
Well, if you go to Meghalaya or Mizoram, you'll find the exact opposite of what we're doing over here.
There is civility.
Yes, they're so
People
civil.
stand in line, they're polite, they respect you.
Yes, they don't spit on the station, they don't eat pan masala all the time, and they're very respectful. In
Mannheim, you must have missed all that, no?
Absolutely.
Not a single thing out of place, not a single person's leg out of place in a line.
Yes, and one of the most encouraging thing about these 7 sisters is they're very, very civil in the manner of the dignity for women. They're very, very upfront. They won't try to sweet talk you into anything.
Just well-mannered.
Absolutely. Very, very well-cultured, well-mannered people. And this is a common trait between all 7 sisters. May it be Tripura, may it be, Mizoram. Absolutely. Yeah. I must also say that, Meghalaya is one of the most beautiful places that I have seen. I'm including Switzerland in it.
Yeah.
Because it's actually very, very Meg. It's in the clouds.
Yeah.
And apart from Aizwal, which is obviously a little more...
My God, you could be a tour guide.
Yes, I could, absolutely.
You know Europe, you know the Northeast, you know India completely.
You never know, 5 years down the line, we'll be talking about a tourism company that I've floated,
This is what I like about the Marwaris.
Absolutely.
See, you're the generation that's going to make the new businesses after 3 generations of the same one.
Maybe
Go on.
Or maybe I'll take your seat and I'll start my own show called Nishek
Don't make
Says.
me the businessman, whatever you do. You can be me, but I can't be you. I can tell you that.
All right. We'll try.
I'll probably settle down in Meghalaya, marry somebody and never come back.
Oh, excellent. I thought you already married.
I've been there. I must say I am already married, but nobody knows once I cross Bombay.
Oh, okay.
The Maharashtra, once I enter Gujarat, I'm safe.
Great, perfect.
All rules change. Excellent. But I've been to Meghalaya and I must say, like you said, it's beautiful. It's picture postcard beautiful at points.
Absolutely.
And completely, in a sense, I don't know if exploited is the right word, but it's not been pushed.
Yes, it's not been...
It's so scenic, and you can really... These places, as you said, they're civil, they're decent, they're clean. You can really push it from tourism point of view.
True. And I think next few years, that's what is going to happen. I believe a lot of these, regional tour operators have now, realized the real
potential that's there.
Absolutely, they have.
But it took one young Marwari boy from Mannheim, from Malabar Hill, and then Mannheim to come all the way.
Absolutely,
all the way
Mannheim
to the northeast and figure it out.
Yeah, so Mannheim was just a transit point of my life in that manner. So here I was with a couple of recipes from the northeast. Then I did down south. I went down south and I did.
So all this is like wrecking for you. You've still got your 1 crore. What do you do with the 1 crore?
No. So the 1 crore has to go in the property that I'm going to be renting out or leasing out for a couple of years.
This is not making Marwari sense to me. You've taken the 1 crore, you rushed out to northeast and south and all that.
Yeah.
But the money should be making money for you while you're waiting to start your business.
So the money making plot starts after December. That's when I open to the public and I start charging them.
So
money.
You're a seasonal Marwari.
Yes.
You hit the right season.
Yes, I'm a part-time Parsi where I'm just
it sounds
exploring
like.
around.
Sounds like.
Yes, absolutely.
You're very secular Indian. Lots of different things in you.
Thank you.
So so you've got the money. You've now checked out northeast, which is very important.
Yes.
Because again, like we said, it's it deserves much more respect and time.
True.
Then we've got the south.
South, yeah.
And
so one of the things that I did down south in for example Andhra Pradesh is not go to Hyderabad or not go to Vijayawada, which are the more booming. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I
travel and the same old cuisines we don't want to repeat. You can't just have idli, sambar,
I don't want. Yes,
I'm
I don't want to do that
to
my diners. So what I do is I go to interiors of these places. For example, when I went to Andhra Pradesh, I took a flight from Bombay to Andhra Pradesh. To Hyderabad. From Hyderabad,
don't say sorry. They split the state into 7 parts.
Oh, okay.
Everyone is confused.
Yes,
people in Andhra Pradesh have no idea. Where are we?
Telangana or between?
Telangana,
yes, absolutely.
Still, and the city is being shared by 9 different states at the moment.
True, that's correct.
So please don't apologize.
No problem. Okay, so I take back my apology.
Yeah.
And so I flew from Bombay to Hyderabad. From Hyderabad, I went by road to Vijayawada. Subsequently, I took a cab from Vijayawada to Guntur, which is a district in...
I've been to Guntur.
Yes, absolutely. And then from Guntur, I went to an interior of the East Godavari side called Amlapuram. Now, Amlapuram has a history of its own. It's one of the first few places where the money against gold system was started.
What does that mean?
That means you can mortgage
the rate you mean?
No. You can mortgage some gold and you get cash in return of it. It was started centuries ago.
What are you saying?
Yes, and Amlapuram was a place where it actually started. So it was an easy choice for me to make because it had so much of history and culture in it by itself.
And again, the Marwari touch. You smell the gold, you smell the money, and you land at the right place.
Absolutely, I land there, and a big challenge is right in front of me. All they're selling over there is samosas, patties, and all those things which you already know.
Which is not neither south nor north nor anything. It's all generic foods.
Absolutely, it's just somewhere there.
Yeah.
And subsequently, I found something right at the bottom of the list of the menu card called punugulu. Punugullu. Punugulu. It sounds very, very strange.
Sounds lovely.
Yes, it does.
Sounds like a terms of endearment to a young girl that you're in love with. Punugulu.
Yeah, punugulu.
Aye, punugulu.
Yes, absolutely. And
say it with me. Punugulu.
Punugulu.
Sorry,
that's what okay, so
I'm sorry, I'm getting a little aroused.
Yes.
Stop saying it.
I think that's the blonde girl who you thought was
Vrinda.
Yeah.
That's my uncle. He's just got long hair. Sorry.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay. Sorry, uncle. So what we did was I asked him for the recipe, and he just made a sign of 5 fingers to me, and I wondered what he was doing. What he meant was give me 5 portions of that.
What are you saying?
Is the minimum that he'll make. Because
thank God he didn't show you 1 finger, because that can also mean something else.
Yeah, it mean a lot of things, absolutely. So he showed me 5 fingers, and what he meant was I'll make a minimum of 5 portions. So I asked him why was that, because he says that these items are actually made in everybody's homes, so they don't sell outside on the street. So I said, all right, make me 5, and he said, come tomorrow. Because it's made of a rice batter, which is actually to be soaked overnight and then
it's like fermented or something.
Absolutely,
for hours.
Yes, for hours.
They say good food is like wine; it takes a long time to prepare.
It does, yes, sometimes.
And a long time to digest also.
And
long time to digest. That's another story.
So
we're still talking about punugulu now.
Punugulu, absolutely, in Amlapuram, which is a small town in East Godavari district. So what we did was I told him, all right, I'll come back tomorrow. He made 5 portions for me at the price of 20 rupees a portion, which is $100. That's what I owed him. I had it, and it was quite exciting for me because it was deep fried, so it's always tasty. What it also came along with was 2 dips. They were both different. One was a tomato dip, and the other one was a nice coconut chutney that you and I eat.
And nothing close to the sambar chutney that we
nothing at all.
Typical
very, very subtle
chutneys they give you.
Absolutely, very, very subtle, very nice to eat, nice and crunchy. It almost looked like an onion ring without the onions. Obviously, it has some herbs and all. And that recipe I had to buy from him for 500 rupees. Again with that 5 finger sign that he told me that I'm going to take $500 for the recipe.
This guy had multiples of 5, everything he does.
I don't know. Maybe he has 5 wives, 5 kids, and 5 homes.
Yeah, no wonder 5 portions.
Absolutely. So,
each portion is filling on its own?
It's about 6 pieces. So it's quite good. I mean, I had to
You
pack
could
the
have
rest.
fed a family of 4.
Actually 6, because,
Depending. My
those guys
family
don't
4,
even know.
your family 6.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's take a quick break and then we're going to get into the whole 29 experience.
Perfect.
We're still in the South. I want to go through all your learning curve and then we come back and see, wow, you made a successful restaurant and a successful restaurant business. But obviously much more to food than just food.
True.
From what we've learned from you so far. You have to go to Germany. You have to do engineering. You have to meet your father at the right time. And you have to go to the Northeast and the South. Yes. This is the moral of the story so far. Coming soon, part 2. Stay where you are. We find out how to be successful at business if nobody gives you 1 crore. Stay where you are.
It was rated Goregaon's most intelligent podcast. It was the best new podcast of the day when it was launched. And now, the irreverent brand of attempted humor and botched education is coming your way. You have many burning questions.
So what is the Brexit? What do mathematicians do, man? I mean...
Introducing Simplified, a weekly podcast that deconstructs issues around you, such as, what on earth is Bitcoin?
So Bitcoin is just another currency like the rupee or dollar. The difference here is it's a virtual currency.
Do resolutions in cameras really matter?
They think that just because a number is higher, what they're getting is actually more.
And encryption.
So encryption, okay, it's a process of encoding messages in such a fashion that only the intended recipient sees it in its intended format.
Hosted by Narendra Shanoy, a very wise man who can't stop making PG Woodhouse references. And Deepak Gopalakrishnan, who calls himself Chuck, a madman who can't stop making poor jokes.
Naren, what do you call a forest where you find all the latest news?
I don't have a good feeling about
A topical rainforest.
Follow Chuck and Naren as they scour Google and read Wikipedia for you and condense it into language you can understand. Simplified, helping you appear smarter to an audience that knows no different.
Okay, back here on Cyrus Says with Nishek Jain, who's the managing director of Sahib Hospitality LLP. That's what I should have introduced you as, but I didn't have the decency to do that, only because I wanted you to come up with the title. What is the Sahib Hospitality LLP? Limited liability, I suppose.
Yes, LLP is the...
I love my Marwari friends. There you go, don't take a chance.
Always there, absolutely. So Sahib actually was the word that they used to refer to me when I went to the Northeast. And I didn't have a company name back then. And everywhere I went, they used to call me Sahib. I don't know why I'm
You just thought it's a lucky name as well.
Yes, so I thought, let me then start the company under the name of Sahib Hospitality LLP. Mm-hmm. It was the easiest, way of having something associated to my first trip, which is memorable to me.
Okay, also. Sahib Ji, if you don't mind, let's go back to the south.
Yes.
We've reached Punugulu.
Yes.
We've understood the portions and you've actually taken a recipe for 500 rupees.
That's
right. A
right.
recipe which may make you crores of rupees over generation.
Hopefully.
But you got it for $500. That poor guy is probably starving somewhere outside Guntur district. What happens now?
Okay, so now I finish my southern trip. I go from Andhra Pradesh. I go to...
What about Kerala?
I did. I went to Kerala.
I'm a huge fan of Kerala cuisine.
Yeah, so I got 2...
And May, who works with us, she's actually Malayali.
Yeah.
And she actually cooks for us and she's very good.
Excellent.
And she only works 2 days a week, so we can give her to you for 5.
Oh, that'll be great.
Because 5 is your lucky number.
Well, not mine, the punugulu.
We all one group now. Punugulu.
Right.
It sounds like a 70s Hindi movie term, no?
Yeah, maybe
if you say
like
that way, Punugulu.
Yeah.
Punugulu.
Or you can say punugulu.
Punugulu.
That's
Punugulu.
right.
Gulu is a Parsi name, by the way.
Oh, really?
Very like Gulshan becomes Gulu.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Gulnaz, Gulraz. So Gulu, I'm okay with Gulu.
Okay, all
but
right.
the Punu gives a very, for me, exotic touch.
Yes.
Let's try it again.
It's southern again. So
Let's do it.
Yes,
you and me.
Punugulu.
Punugulu. Punugulu.
That's right.
All right, back to your story.
Okay.
Now you're in Kerala.
You asked me about Kerala. Kerala, I got a basic recipe, which is appam, which is very, very... it's quite exciting.
Appam is, you can't go to Kerala and not know what an appam is. That's fair enough.
Yeah, sorry.
But what I notice is north and south is hugely different in terms of food and the style of food and the spiciness, if anything.
The herbs. Down south, they don't use a lot of, masalas. They don't use a lot of, spices. They use more of herbs. Which is a common trait between the southern states and up north in Uttarakhand.
And this is why their food is for herbivorous people. So
yeah, well,
just ignore that and keep going. Yeah.
So 29 is a purely veg.
I can see you're in pain now. Nishek, it's okay to laugh. It's all right.
All right.
So, there's nothing bad in the lowest form of humor. It always hurts.
Yeah. So I finished my southern endeavor, and
But I don't want to be critical. You only went to the Andhra.
I went to Andhra. I went to Tamil Nadu.
Yes. Erstwhile Andhra, Tamil Nadu, and what about
So Kerala
and Karnataka.
And Karnataka, exactly. So all 4 I did, and then I came back to Bombay.
So we've done the northeast, we've done the south.
Yes.
And
I had about 40 to 45 recipes from these states.
And you probably been exposed to the north much more, so you don't need to really go there.
Yes. No, but I did. So I had 4 legs in this whole.
No, human beings can only have 2 legs. You're upsetting my customer. You cannot have 4 legs. You can have 3 legs, but that's not this kind of show.
Yeah. But,
so 2 legs?
Yeah, or 3.
2 legs, or 2 of you and 4 legs?
Absolutely. So I had 3 plus 1 legs.
Listen, this whole show is about numbers. First you got that guy with the 5. Now we got you and your 4.
And the 1 CR from my dad.
Oh, 1 CR, it goes a long way. That changes everything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So now, sorry, you're going north?
Northeast is done.
Northeast is done.
The southern part of our
the 4
country
states are done?
Is done. I go up north. I don't go to Punjab. It's not interesting for me. Because
What?
It's not interesting for me.
It's a huge belt for me.
It is.
Most of our listeners are Punjabi.
All the chicken.
Say sorry.
I'm sorry,
Cyrus,
you
mean the non-veg side.
Yes,
but that's nonsense. We're talking about
not because of that.
The veg food is exactly the same. The masalas and all exactly the same. There's just no meat.
In fact, I was informed that in Haryana, most people are purely vegetarians.
I know.
And
it's a big misnomer.
Yes.
Firstly, that north is non-veg. It's nothing like that. In fact, in parts of south, they're more non-veg.
Absolutely.
This is all rubbish stereotypes that they give you.
Yes. So
sorry. But you didn't go to Punjab for whatever reason.
I didn't go to Punjab because I thought Punjabi food and culture
is overdone here.
Exactly, it's already overexposed. Or whatever's authentic is already available over here. Like the nice Amritsari chole with the kulcha is already available since many years over here. So I went up north, but I went to, for example, Kashmir.
Wow.
Yes, I went to Kashmir.
This is during insurgency?
Obviously. Well, it's been around for like 60 years.
Does your father know what you were doing?
Yes, absolutely.
He gave you 1 crore and you're just wandering around like a nutcase. What kind of Marwari boy does that? Well, by now you should be making millions in South Mumbai in a small shop. With no overheads. Huh?
Well, I didn't physically carry the 1 CR with me. I had it.
But were you worried going to Kashmir because the last time?
Not at all. I'll be very honest.
Did you go beyond Srinagar? Did you go to
I did. So, what happened was I actually wanted to get some recipes from the Kashmiri Pandit. So I didn't really have to go to...
Right.
Yeah. So,
one of them works for us, by the way.
Oh, excellent. I could have met him and saved that money.
He can't make bread into toast. He's that bad.
That's because he doesn't know all those, recipes which are available.
He's a nice, spoiled North Indian boy. He can't do anything.
Excellent. Okay. I think he's not a listener. Okay, excellent.
He doesn't pay attention. Go on.
Great. Okay. So, I tried to get a couple of recipes from the Kashmiri Pandit, but I was not successful.
This is like going to homes.
I didn't go to homes. I actually had a taxi driver who was a Kashmiri Pandit himself and who still.
So he asked you to drive the cab and he'd make the food.
Not really. He was just dictating a couple of items which I could explore potentially, and it was okay, but I didn't really manage to find something substantial which I could use.
So was it like a waste?
It was a waste, actually. It was a waste. It's a sorry state, but.
No pun intended. Oops.
Yes.
Yeah, be careful. We've been very sensitive on the show so far. Anyway.
Okay, excellent. So, it was really sorry for me to experience that. A lot of people.
But that's not the state's fault. That's just the fact that your experience with whoever was not that great.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was not able to figure out which one recipe would have been interesting for my diners. Yeah. Not that they don't have a lot of options.
And the Vazwan thing is all non-veg, isn't it?
That's all.
But you can't use the same gravies. And
I did, exactly. So, what I did was, one of the things that I have in my menu is called a Kashmiri Paneer roll. What I do is I use the chicken marination and the mutton marination. I toss it up
the same paneer replaces chicken.
Exactly. And
is it like a whitish gravy?
It is a yellowish gravy and a reddish gravy. There are two, obviously. And then I team it up with nice, bread made of saffron and good.
You have to have that saffron touch. That saffron touch is very important.
Yes, the shirmal, and then it's made into a nice roll and served to a diner. So it's got an essence of Kashmir, but it's not really what you would know as a Vazwan, for example.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So this is definitely something that's representing Kashmir.
Yes,
now we're coming back to your whole idea. This idea was in your head?
Yes,
already of having all the states being represented?
Yes. So one of the things that I did not name the restaurant 29 states. I called it 29. The reason being, we have 29 physical states in our country. However, there are 2 states, which is the Sindh and the Parsis. Udvada itself is a state for me.
The Sindh has gone to Pakistan.
Yeah, well,
but the food is still here.
Yes, and the people, they're an integral part of our country.
But the people said, no, we'll stay.
Yeah, we'll stay here. So it was great that they stayed back, and also along with them stayed the
Parsi cuisine,
Yes, Parsi cuisine and the Sindhi cuisine. So I have both of these covered as well. So it's called 29. It's a symbolic notion of our country.
Not to mention, we keep having more states. I don't know what time you formed it, but the Telangana hadn't happened, for example. So by now the state number will go up and can go up any moment. The Gurkhas want their land, and I mean, there's so many other things pending.
So whenever it does, it won't really change a lot of.
You should just do it in chalk, like they do in Irani restaurants. Just keep it flexible. They can also rejoin the state. The state can become one again, so you can go down to 26.
Yeah, or I could just.
Anything is possible. This is India, brother. I'm just warning you.
Yeah, thanks for the information. But I will take that up maybe at a time when we reach there. However, for now, my remedy is if ever there is an exclusion of trade or they're including a new state, I'll just make it a plus or a minus, so it becomes 29.
I'll tell you, my problem with this slight whole number thing is that I think the middle states get, let's leave Rajasthan aside, that's your home state, so obviously you have enough from your home cuisine and all. Yeah. But I'm saying if you look at the middle, what I call the central states, and I talk about from Nagpur upwards, if you look at the region, forget the state. Yeah. But sometimes that whole area just doesn't, it's again like the northeast. Yeah. Like Chhattisgarh, for example, or Madhya Pradesh, for example. Yeah. How much food is coming from there that we're aware of? We've got these 4 or 5 very large, demographics. All the South states put together. Correct. Punjabi cuisine, Mughlai cuisine, Andhra cuisine. Yes, fair enough. Separately, perhaps. All there are even Sindh, Parsi. All get a little mileage. Exactly. But what about the middle states? They seem to just disappear.
So it's partially correct. One of the reasons is because sourcing from these states is very difficult. They're thriving on basic herbs and not really masalas, which is a common thing between Rajasthan and northern food. Is that they have masalas and we can source them, but these herbs which are available maybe in Uttarakhand or Jharkhand, they're not really readily available. So I
want more Jharkhandi food. It's not shown anywhere.
Yes, it's there in my
and not Jamshedpur. There's also Parsi food there. Well, no. I'm talking about Jharkhand proper.
Absolutely. So I'm talking about ghugni and dhuska, which is actually a recipe or a dish which is commonly eaten by the folks over there, and it's almost like a sali boti for the Parsis.
Wow, your sali boti.
Yes,
very good.
I just know it. I've not tasted it. I'm a vegetarian, like I told you.
You can eat the sali.
Yeah, well,
the gravy is the same. You can put paneer. You can, like I said,
that's what I'm going to do in the next menu. That's what I'm getting. Something called a sali gravy, which is exactly what you said. Just to get the essence of the Parsi.
And there are 2 ways to make that. Let me tell you, sweet and spicy, just like our ladies. Be careful.
All right.
Okay. So wait, I have to take the legal complaints that are going to come right now in the next 30 seconds. Let me take them down, then move on with the show.
I think she's here.
Yeah.
Oh, there.
There's no she. We have very underage girls working for us here for some reason. My producer doesn't want to pay them full rate. We have a different way of working. We're all Marwari here. See, this is all because we're from the same area. The culture sort of spreads. Okay. Now let's fast forward a little bit. So you've gone to how many states? Mentally
21
actually
states.
Visited 21 states.
Yes, and I got 138.
I don't think anybody's ever done this. I don't think anybody in the country has actually visited all these states, except perhaps Babur when he tried to conquer it.
And Mr. Modi.
Well, yes, well done. That's out of the ground. That's superb. Well done. Beautifully put, yes. Right. He has to campaign. Yes, he's absolutely. A one-man campaigning army. There is nobody else.
True.
From what we gather, yeah. So 21 states, a lot of legwork. You actually got the German touch as well, so that European thing will also come into it, I'm sure, and the home cuisine. So you've 21 states, and now you start.
Yes. So I from these 21 states, I got 138 recipes, out of which 70 I've already procured and use them in the menu right now.
Wow.
One of the things which is authentic about these recipes is that a lot of these things have been a lot of these recipes have been brought from there, and along with that I've got some sourcing done for the herbs, for example, for the masalas. There are a couple of things like the ingredients. Our pyaz kachori have actual pyaz from Rajasthan. We get the pyaz twice a week from Rajasthan.
How does that matter? Getting the
for example, the pyaz is used for the pyaz kachori. The pyaz of Maharashtra, the onions are very, very spicy. They're tikha. As opposed to the pyaz of Rajasthan, they're very subtle. Well, they're not sweet. Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of difference in the onion itself. So the taste also differs from a Rajasthani pyaz kachori to a Maharashtra-made Rajasthani pyaz kachori.
So if I held a Rajasthani onion in one hand and I held a Maharashtrian onion in the other hand, would you be able to tell the difference?
Immediately by the smell of it. Immediately.
But they both smell the onions.
No, well, one is subtle, the other one is kind of a...
Wow, that's damn interesting.
Actually. Yes. So that's the beauty in our country. This is exactly.
I have a question to you. Is Chetan Bhagat allowed to eat at your restaurant? Because you're 29 states, he's 3 states. I was just thinking maybe that'd be a problem.
I think he's 2 states.
He's 2 states. I should research my own gag. Sorry. Go on.
All right. So, but back to...
So, but I think this is the most important part of the whole thing, is you actually take the effort to go and mix and match it correctly.
Absolutely.
These small little things, you think it makes a difference to the person eating at the end of the day?
It does a lot, because, eventually they're exposed to authentic food and not just a regional recipe that I got along.
My wife got onions from Alibag, which are pure white in color and taste totally different.
Yes, and they're actually used for something called a popti, which is a typical, Alibag specialty.
Oh, I think the damn onion would be so colorful and versatile.
Yes.
I have so much more respect for the onion.
Yes, now you know why they're so expensive.
Oh, yes. We only buy one at a time for some reason. Like I said, same culture. One onion can go around a lot. Very interesting. So that's just the onion. That's the start of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about so many different ingredients and so many styles of cuisine.
Correct. That's right.
And so do we actually have, and this is a trick question, please tell me the truth, do we actually have 29 options? If I sat in that restaurant called 29, which is what we're talking about today, can I ask for 29, supposing I had 29 friends, could I get 29 separate state dishes?
You would get 29 plus 2. Like I told you, there's a Sindh and there's a Parsi.
Hooray for the Parsis!
Hooray.
We don't have a state. We're allowed everywhere. We're the only people who the other states don't say, please go, please go.
Yeah.
Because there's so few,
Exactly.
There are more onions than Parsis. That's how sad it is. Of course, there are more variations in onions. There are less variations than Parsis. We need to perhaps intermarry a little bit here and there. Oh, take that back again. Wow. So 31 different cuisines at any given point can be served. That's
Absolutely.
amazing.
Yes, that's what 29 is. So, what I do
This
is...
is secularism. I have a birthday party. Why do you have to serve only Parsi food? I'll say, whatever you want to have. Where are you from? Bengal? Bengali khana lana. Fantastic. I think you cracked it. You're the Manmohan Desai of restaurateurs. I respect you so much. I'm going to touch your feet, except that I have this back problem. So can you put your feet up?
Absolutely.
But don't separate them. There's no dish that can rival that. Brother, that's fantastic. Jokes apart, I think I see they should give this more limelight. We do all this rubbish secularism thing where, instead of chanting things in public and standing up and sitting down and all, I think this is far more subtle and good.
Thanks.
You can actually get to know more about people and states just from a simple meal.
Yes, and what you also get along with that is an experience, because you could get a meal restricted to any one region of our country in any establishment, but 29 is bringing you a lot of variety under one roof with valet parking and AC, which
valet parking is more important than the food.
Yes, thank
you.
you.
Understand how many times we go for dinner and we can't eat because parking nahi hai.
Yes, exactly.
And they just point to you when you ask for parking. They just point into some direction, like the andheri. You just keep driving till you find the parking.
So it's another motivation for you to come to 29 and dine at 29.
I wonder which state does the parking. That's another story. We won't get into any form of racism. But do you ever get a critique? Like if let's say I'm from Bihar and I come and eat your food and I say, okay, do you get a critique from a guy from the interior saying this, my state food is not that good?
Yes, I do often.
Or the opposite, do they say, wow?
It's both ways. What happens is we get a lot of people who are from a particular region or the state, and they say that this is not exactly what I would have known from my home. The only reason is, I cannot use all the cooking manners that they're used to. Making at home, simply because I'm a commercial establishment. I have to look at aspects like the tack time. I have to look at the BMC permissions that I get. For example, I cannot have a bhatti.
Don't you do what all restaurateurs are supposed to do? BMC officials eat free?
No, we don't.
You don't put that sign up anymore?
No, we don't.
What the hell? That's another state. Number 30. All right. So, all said and done, would you say that because I suppose that's the best compliment when the authentic ethnicity says ki ye barabar hai bhai.
Yes, absolutely. We get that like a lot, as well. That it's reminded me, something that my grandmother used to make,
which they would not have expected to get in Mumbai.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we have our 5 established cuisines and that's it.
That's it, exactly. So it's very different from what you would know from other establishments serving Chinese or.
Is punugulu a big hit?
It is. It's one of my fastest moving starters. And
so people are willing to try. I thought the biggest problem with Indians is we don't like change.
Not really.
We are real traditional in every way.
I would defer.
This is why we have less affairs.
Yes.
We stay married. It's one good thing about being Indian.
Yes.
So do you feel that now this modern generation is saying, okay, let me try punugulu. I may be from Punjab or whatever, but I want to try this.
Not just the younger generation. I'm also including the mid-aged.
And you point at
patrons.
me. Go on.
No, you're still young. You just.
No, but I would think as a restaurateur that would have been the biggest problem. Every time I talk to people and I ask them, boss, why do you only serve biryani and this Punjabification food and this Mughlai food and this South Indian established snack food? Why dn't you ever go beyond that? They say, nahi jamta, India mein nahi jamta.
No, but that's not true because from what we have experienced as a unit, it's been accepted widely and it's been accepted all over the age barrier.
But I think it would have been a gamble. That 1 crore would have been a gamble because everyone would have said, tried and tested, go with the 3 cuisines that sell. You have to have Chinese, Indian, Chinese, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But you actually backed yourself and done 29 things and you're selling punugulu today.
Absolutely. And, punugulu is like that. Punugulu. That kind of punugulu. That's
we're making fun, but it's a signature. It's symbolic of the success of this restaurant. What are the plans now as we go further?
So what we do is, we change the menu every 6 months. That means every 6 months you get 70 to 75 new.
So you have to keep traveling again?
Yes, absolutely. So every year I
can't you just get 5 experts like in cricket called Not Zone? Bolo bolo, bhaiya kya hai aajkal? Wouldn't that be easier and faster?
Yeah, but then I would have to pass the commercials on to the.
I can tell from
diner.
your face you like my idea. No more Guntur for you. That's it. All right. So that's very interesting. It's a work in progress. You have to keep refurbishing.
Yes.
But what happens to the hit dishes? If punugulu is a big hit, you can't take it off the menu.
We have this in a rubric called the Blast from the Past, which means that everything which is a fast-moving item will absolutely stay in reach for the diners who wish to repeat whatever we've already served. However, we do encourage people to try new things, new recipes, so that it becomes easier for them to identify what they like and what they don't like, which is a trial and error.
But Nishek, if you go forward, will there be more eateries? And if 29 gets replicated, does it become 58, for example? How does it work?
No,
the model.
Well, it stays 29.
But will you go beyond Mumbai?
Yes,
because in any case, you're not the way you've structured the food is not about one type, so you can go anywhere.
Absolutely. So that's a plan. We'll try to make it as elaborate as possible and give more and more people the option of dining parallelly to authentic Indian recipe. Yeah.
And have people from the northeast come and eaten food inside?
We've got a couple of patrons who come in and tried the lal hara chaat, for example, which is a Mizoram based salad actually. But
giving you a thumbs up?
100%, yes, absolutely.
All right, so you've done very well. Before we let you go, I got to tell you, we've got a thing called the EMA.
Yeah.
Nishek, you've got a thriving business. Well done to you.
Thank you.
You threw that engineering degree into the River Thames, which is in England, but I don't know the name of the rivers in Germany. You probably help me with that one. Can you name rivers in Germany?
Yeah, I can.
Name 5.
Oh, so there are just 2 in total.
What the hell? Who took the other 3? Okay, go on.
Okay, so do you seriously want to know?
Yeah. I want to test your German knowledge.
Okay.
Jawohl.
Genau.
Genau. That's Hindi.
No, so
that means to
genau
count.
means exactly.
Oh.
The first one is called Mainz, M-A-I-N-Z, which
and the next is Rhines.
Rhines is, there
you go.
Rhine, yeah.
This sounds like a Hindi film again. What are they making bad lyrics? Mainz, Rhines, Thines. These are the rivers. I'm going to Munich. Be nice. All right. Just getting around. Nishek, lovely to meet you. 29 States is the name of this fantastically researched. 29 without the states is the name. I just put states in, but that's the point of the whole thing. 29, it's somewhere in South Mumbai. The location is very close to what we call Kim's Corner. It's easy for you to find. And it's probably, am I right to say this? It's unique, as in there is no other restaurant which offers you 29 plus 2 plus more on the horizon.
Right, that's true.
So it's a one of its kind. It's a great dining experience. Take your wife and kids, leave them there, enjoy it, come home. That's what I did. Nishek, thank you so much. Before we let you go, we need to do the AMAs, where we ask questions and you have to help us answer.
Absolutely.
One final question though, as we go into the AMAs, which is your favorite dish?
The Dalambichi Ussalani Aduchi Amti, which is the Maharashtrian.
I wanted the punugulu, yaar. I wanted you to say it once more with feeling, yaar. One more punugulu. I set it up for you, man. And you went Maharashtrian dish just so that they don't kick you out of Maharashtra. Don't worry. I have pull with the BJP. Can we say it one more time? It's going to the AMAs. It's punugulu.
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 If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
The AMA, the man who loves his food has just walked in. Coming from me, that's pretty dry. Yes. Amit, welcome. Nishek, we're all neighbors from the same area, hence we promote each other. Yeah. 29 states, Amit. He's gone to 29 states.
It sounds really interesting, man. I need to visit, I really do, because the idea...
I'm saying, look at it from our point of view. You want to save money, you don't have to go to the state anymore. You just have to go to him.
You go to him.
He'll tell you about the state, he'll give you some food, you're out.
Yeah, let the Marwadi guy waste all his money and bring all the rest of it.
You're wasting no money, brother. You're laughing all the way to the bank.
Being able to pull money out of you, that seems like a reasonable...
I just want to get one extra pagoda will cost us. What are you saying? All right, EMA.
Okay, so the first question I got from you is from Ashay Dalvi, who is one of our regular AMA questioners. Hey, congrats on the first anniversary of the show. My question is, you had acted in ZTV serial called Hello Friends.
Never mentioned that.
About
Never. Everybody has a past.
It was very interesting, but it didn't last long.
It was the worst show ever. I can't think of anything worse than that.
Yeah,
Let me tell you how it was done. Ajit Pal, a lovely man, decided, he used to make shows, and we were all MTV VJs, and he decided to make Friends while it was still on in Hindi without taking any. In those days, those were the great days. You just change the language and you go on. That's it.
I had a coffee shop, and
but brother, the exact same episode. So here's my problem. I was playing Chandler's character, and we had to do this tobacco thing, right?
No smoking.
So but they didn't want to mention smoking. So how do we pull that off? 1, 2. David Schwimmer's character was played by Nikhil Chinnappa, I think. And his wife, if you remember the early episodes, his wife leaves him in the English Friends, American Friends, for another woman, which is humor. Right? Because it's a lesbian relationship, so hence there's a funny track to that. We couldn't do lesbian because lesbian is not in our culture. We can't do tobacco is not in our culture. And then, so what do? We replace lesbian with man. With woman. So what happens is that he's basically now upset because his wife has left him for a man.
So it's
a tragedy. It's not a comedy.
Exactly.
So you feel bad for him. There's no humor in it. And my tobacco, it became some ridiculous thing. I don't know what it was. It was pan or what? I can't even explain it to you. It just didn't make any sense. There was an episode on HIV/AIDS. We could mention HIV/AIDS. So I said, sir, replicate कैसा कर सकते हैं? जो cultural isms है वो हम replicate नहीं कर सकते. Don't worry, Docha. People will understand. They've seen both. I'm like, it was fun, but it was fun to shoot because he's a good guy and all that. But
I mean, replicating, something which was from the Western world was why Anu Malik is still making a killing.
Not just him. There are plenty of people.
Yeah,
I have no problem with that if you do it openly and whatever. But
you do it well, right? I mean, like if you do it well, if you're trying.
In a way, he was ahead of his time. Yeah. If he did it now, he'd probably get the permissions. Then you localize it. You got to localize it properly.
Exactly.
You can't just, the boy can't become a girl and all. The whole humor thing went out of the window.
Yeah, no, it changes what the thing is, right? I mean, that whole Ross and his ex-wife thing. I mean, that was funny. It was. And
we had Maria Goretti playing one character, and her Hindi is worse than mine. So in her nervousness, she would just talk really fast. So it'd be like, so I think her name was Penny in the thing. Penny, kiska phone hai? What the hell did she say? Nobody could tell. Take 2. We had some great moments. Yeah.
No, that was. So I mean, like, I remember watching that show because a couple of friends were on it, right? Roy was on it, and Mandira was on it too, right? So
but not
regular, but
so like one episode they came on. Yeah.
So I remember watching it at that time this, and I was pretty much reacted just as you said, and I had watched the other one. I was like, what am
you cannot show to someone who watches the American Friends.
Like, what am I watching?
Actually makes American Friends good. I can't bear that show. Friends coming soon. India, Pakistan.
So the second question is, this comes from Briefless Attorney on Twitter.
He's also been on a few times.
Yeah, he's messaged us a few times. Why wasn't Board Brocha's name included in the Panama Papers leak?
Well, please understand the main beneficiary. Please understand how the philosophy of this whole thing works. The main beneficiary's name is never mentioned. Ala Putin.
I see.
Putin, Vladimir Putin. It's not mentioned.
Never. No
it's Putin's best friend who's mentioned. David Cameron, not mentioned. Ian Cameron, the father's mentioned. So if you want to make a link, you can.
So then I need to find if Kunal Vijaykar's name is on there. Is that what you're saying?
We would never send Kunal to Panama because he just looks so Panamanian. I can just see him with a hat and walking around doing nothing, a cigar in his hand. Yeah. So that's the catch. You don't go after the guys whose names are there. It's the link that you have to get after. So who's the link? Amit. Have you been walking around with a big bag? Ever since Savan struck?
Savan struck. All right, that's all I got in terms of
That's all we got. So let's just wish Nishek a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. It's not my birthday, man.
Doesn't matter. We don't have time for details. This is not that kind of show. But 29 is rocking. It's a good place to go. He's put in a lot of hard work, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the food. We'll leave you with all three of us gulping down punugulu. Amit, say it.
Punugulu.
No. Give me respect.
Did I say it right?
It's punugulu.
Punugulu.
Yeah.
I heard punugulu.
It's soft. It's all soft. Punugulu. It's like, we don't need reverb anymore. We can just do this all day. Kids, wherever you are, we have a new game. Everybody say punugulu.
If you admire Cyrus's bosoms just like we do, follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter. And that's what Cyrus says.
All right, if you've listened to this show called Cyrus Says and you want your money back, let me tell you, that can't be done right now. But we can make you feel better if you listen to Made in India. That's M-A-E-D, Made in India, with May. There's no D in May. Although, maybe one day.
Our podcasts bring all the boys to the yard, and damn right, they're better than yours. But you don't need to stand outside in the yard. Just follow IVM Podcasts on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We might be on Tinder too. Just go ahead and swipe right.